Hi there, I'm Martyn Hedges and this is Into the Pit. A small mining town has sprung up over newly discovered veins of precious minerals, circle quartz, squareite, triangulum and starstone. As the foreman of an upstart mining company, your job is to hire a workforce of miners, train them up, and dig up the valuable commodities to fulfill contracts for waiting buyers. You are not the only company trying to stake a claim in these hills. It'll be a race to see who will earn the most renown and money as you delve deeper and deeper into the pit. Into the Pit is a medium-light game for 1 to 4 players with worker placement, tile laying, resource collection, and contract fulfillment mechanics. Over the course of the game, players will be moving their foreman reaper around the town board, utilizing various worker placement spaces to enable them to dig up resources from the communal mine, hire additional workers to their workforce, buy powerful upgrades, resting their workforce, and ultimately using the resources they have mined to fulfill contracts, to earn money and end game victory points. Let's have a closer look at the mine itself. The mine is made up of 25 tiles for a 3 to 4 player game and 16 tiles in a 1 to 2 player game. The tiles are broken up into a 3 by 3 grid containing either resources or rock, the empty spaces you can see. They can be rotated in any direction for added variability of setup. The basic version of the game requires the tiles to be shuffled and randomly rotated and arranged into either a 4x4 or a 5x5 grid depending on player count. However, it is entirely possible to arrange these tiles in many different ways to create a new and interesting challenge every time. Now we have our mine arranged, flip over the first 2 levels. We can now see the starting resources that we can dig up. Digging resources out the mine is really the meat of the game. To do this, players will move their foreman to the foreman's office and take the dig action. By the way, if this or any other space is already occupied by other foremen, you must pay for one of those foremen to move out of the space, giving 1 coin to the player who controls that foreman and ejecting him back to the center of the board. To perform the dig action, a player moves a number of miners from their ready miner area of their player board to the tied area. Now the players work out the dig value. Each miner has the energy to dig up 1 square of the mine, so moving 3 miners from your ready area to your tied area would give you a dig value of 3, meaning you can place a size 3 polyomino dig tile onto the mine. There are powerful upgrades you can buy that will increase your dig value, and these upgrades can be bought from the market, or you could just hire a larger workforce, allowing you to combine multiple smaller dig tiles and make new shapes. Now that we have our size 3 dig tile, let's place it onto the mine. When placing a dig tile, it must be placed either touching the very top row of the mine or another dig tile that is already present in the mine, potentially building off the work of other players. Once placed, the player gains any resources that is covered by the dig tile and adds them to the collected goods area of their player board. Our miners are tired and won't be able to dig again until they are rested. To do this, send your foreman to the miner's rest and take the rest action. Then, move any miners in your tired area back to your ready area. Now that we have some resources, let's take a look at what we can do with those. Contracts are available for all players to complete. Each will require you to have a certain combination of resources available in your collected goods area. To fulfill a contract, a player sends their foreman to the contract office and takes the fulfillment action. Turns the correct resources from the collected goods area back to the supply. The player then takes the corresponding contract card, takes the coin reward, and then turns that card face down, keeping it next to their player board. This is also the timer for the game, with a 1 to 2 player game ending after a player has fulfilled their 6th contract, 5th contract for a 3 player game, and 4 contracts in a 4 player game. In addition to fulfilling a contract, you may reserve a contract, taking it from the display and placing it face up on the other side of your player board. This prevents another player from fulfilling the contract before you do. However, you are locked into fulfilling that reserved contract before any others. And any unfulfilled reserved contracts will be worth negative victory points to you at the end of the game. At the end of the game, players will sell any resources back to the market for their market value, taking coins from the supply. Players will then score victory points for completed contracts, installed upgrades, additional miners they have hired, and finally 1 point for every 2 coins they have left over at the end of the game. The player with the most points is the winner, and in the event of a tie, the player with the most coins is the winner. If there is still a tie, then the victory is shared. And that's about it. As you can tell, Into the Pit has a simple rule set, very low downtime due to snappy turns, high level of replayability due to variable setup, high levels of player interaction with the communal mine, vying for worker placement spaces, and competition over contracts. And finally, a challenging solo mode. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope to hear back from you soon.